Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about YSL Clones and Alternatives, and I prepared a list of 13 such fragrances. But before I show them to you, you know that I'm George, the nice medic gentleman, and it's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content. The brand of YSL is a very popular designer brand, and they've created some really nice fragrances over the years, and they're quite popular, and that of course means that they have been cloned quite a lot. Some other brands from the Middle East and from the designer realm have taken inspiration from, scents from YSL. Others have straight up copied them. Now, the first line of fragrances that I'm going to cover in today's video will be the L'Homme line, the YSL L'Homme line. The first fragrance that I've included in today's video comes from the brand of Alhambra, and it's called Marjan Red. And this is not a straight up clone, but definitely feels something like the OG, L'Homme from YSL. Again, not a straight up clone, feels more like an inspiration, something that can serve as an alternative. This is a nice little scent from the brand of Armaf that for some reason has not really gotten a lot of attention since it was released some years ago. It's fruity, it's spicy, it's a bit woody, there's some sweetness on its dry down, you'll get a bit of citruses in the opening, smells really nice, really pleasant and very inoffensive in my opinion. Some people think that this is a feminine scent because of the color of the bottle. I personally think that this is sort of on something that smells similar to the OG L'Homme from YSL. The next fragrance from that L'Homme line will be L'Homme EDP, and it's again not a straight up clone, but something that will get you smelling similar. It comes from the brand of Fragrance World, and it's called L'Homme the Night Edition. Now this also in a way smells like YSL Nuit de L'Homme, and in fact this was the reason why I bought this one some time ago, because this was presented to me as being a clone of Nuit de L'Homme. It turned out to be something a little bit different, something that smells maybe closer to the EDP version of L'Homme. Again, very decent quality, very decent performance, scent-wise quite close to both the EDP and somewhat close to Nuit de L'Homme. The next one that I've included in today's video, the next original scent that I'm going to cover will be the OG Nuit de L'Homme. Probably the most famous member of that line of fragrances. Now there are a few clones out there, a few alternatives. For this video today I've included only one because I didn't want the video to become only about Nuit de L'Homme. It comes from the brand of Tet Lapidus, and it's called Poker Face. And it's one of those, you can call them hidden gem of a fragrances. Now again, this is not a straight up clone of Nuit de L'Homme. This feels a little bit sweeter, a little bit more powdery than the original fragrance, maybe a little bit less fresh and woody, but definitely smells quite similar to, to Nuit de L'Homme. If you don't mind the added powderness, if you don't mind the added sweetness, this actually can serve as a good alternative. Performance-wise, this is pretty similar to the current batches, current formulations of Nuit de L'Homme. Projection-wise, it's pretty similar, and it only costs a fraction of the price. At least the last time I checked, this can usually be found for like 25 euros, 25, $30. So it's a very decent alternative for Nuit de L'Homme. The next original scent from YSL that I'm going to cover, and from this very same line, will be Nuit de L'Homme Blue Electrique. Now, for some reason, it was launched and then I think very quickly discontinued. I'm not sure about it being discontinued, but the original one is quite hard to get, and sometimes prices can be very high, and it drew the attention of Middle Eastern brands, and nowadays there are quite a few clone scent alternatives to YSL Nuit de L'Homme Blue Electrique. For today's video I've included two of them that come from two of the major brands from the Middle East. On one hand we have Latafa Al Nashama Caprice, and then on the other hand I have Jack of Clubs from Fragrance World. Now both of them are very nice, I really like both of them. Al Nashama Caprice is a little bit more woody, feels a little bit more powdery, feels a little bit more aromatic than the original fragrance, whereas Jack of Clubs feels like a slightly sweeter, slightly less fresh take on the Blue Electric scents. But both of them have really nice quality, both of them have really good performance. On one hand you have Jack of Clubs, which longevity wise it's pretty similar to the original one, maybe outperforms the original slightly when it comes to projection, and then on the other hand you have Al Nashama Caprice, which in my opinion is even longer lasting than the original fragrance and definitely projects better. It's a louder scent. Both of them offer really nice quality, both of them are very affordable, are easy to find, and are great alternatives for Nuit de L'Homme Blue Electrique. The next line of fragrances from YSL that I'm going to cover in this video will be the Y line, the so-called Y line. The first one that I'm going to cover will be the Y EDP, a fragrance that became very popular amongst Middle Eastern clone brands a couple of years ago, and there are quite a few clones of Y EDP. For this video today I've included two. The first one comes from Lattafa again, and it's called Fakhar Black, and this one is more like an alternative. It's not an exact clone. This is sweeter, this is more playful, this is a more youthful take on the scent of Y EDP. And it at one point used to be a very popular fragrance for Lattafa. People were buying this one left, right and center. And I can acknowledge that this is a very nice, very easy to wear fragrance that it's not super close to the original scent, but will get you smelling somewhat similar, while at the same time being very versatile. Probably the only limiting factor about this fragrance will be the fact that it's a little bit sweeter, and that way may come across a little bit too youthful for some people, but it's a good alternative. The quality is good, the performance is decent, nothing spectacular, but still, you know, it's a pretty decently performing scent, and to this day this remains a very popular offering from Lattafa. The other one comes from the brand of Maison Alhambra, so again it's like coming from Lattafa. It's called Yeah, and this one tries to be a straight up clone of of YSL Y EDP. It misses the mark a little bit because this one feels to my nose a little bit less sweet than the original, a little bit less intense than the original. Definitely quality and performance wise it's inferior to the original fragrance, but it's very inexpensive, and again it used to be very popular at one point in time, and probably to this day remains a good seller for Maison Alhambra, simply because the scent that it carries is very versatile and it's very easy to wear. It works in any type of scenario and environment. Performance is, I would say, about moderate. Projection is moderate, but it's very inexpensive. And the last fragrance that I've included in this portion of the video, which is actually cloning Y Elixir. It's a pretty new offering from the brand of Paris Corner, and it's called Zodiac Stratos. And this again smells quite similar to the original scent. Basically, it's the original scent is taking the Y EDP, the Y scent profile, and just darkens it up a little bit, adds a little bit more oods, making it a little bit more elegant, slightly more mature in my opinion, while still retaining some of those properties of the original scent. The fact that it's very versatile, that it's a blue type of scent. This just is a little bit more spicy, a little bit more woody, and Stratos actually captures the scent of the original one quite well. Offers very decent quality and also offers very decent performance. In fact, I was quite surprised by the performance of Zodiac Stratos, because it's almost the same as the original scent, while at the same time it costs a fraction of the price of the original fragrance. The next fragrance that I've included in today's video will sort of cover both fragrances from the Myself line, the EDP and the Le Parfum versions. It comes from the brand of Zimaya, and it's called Itqan Noir, and this feels like a mix between YSL Myself EDP and Myself Le Parfum, and it's actually very decently done. It's a another very easy to wear fragrance that's very versatile. It's very inoffensive, quite sweet. It feels floral. It's almost perfectly unisex, and to my nose stands somewhere in between the Le Parfum versions and the EDP version. Quality is very decent, the price tag is low, the performance is good, especially when it comes to total longevity on skin. It lacks a little bit when it comes to projection, but if you like those type of scents, this is actually a very nice alternative. The next one, the next original scent from YSL that I'm going to cover will be the very famous Tuxedo. A lot of clones have had, that fragrance that original scent has seen a lot of cloning. Now, I've included only two options in today's video because again I can do a separate video where I can talk only about Tuxedo clones, and that video will still be like 10-15 minutes long. The two fragrances that I've included in today's video that are cloning are alternatives of Tuxedo. The first one is probably the one that got the most attention early on. It's called the Tux. I think nowadays it has a different name. It comes from Maison Alhambra, and this used to be very hyped up. It used to be very sought after. At some point prices reached absurdly high levels, but this is in reality is a very decent clone of Tuxedo. Of course, it lacks some of the quality, it lacks some of the performance of the original scent, but actually captures the scent profile quite well. Nowadays it's easier to find, it's a lot less expensive, but at one point it used to be a hyped up beast. The other Tuxedo alternative that I've included in today's video is what probably a lot of people recognize as being the most refined clone of Tuxedo. It comes from Fragrance World and French Avenue, and it's called Igua, but keep in mind that this one is probably the most expensive, or one of the two most expensive fragrances that I'm featuring in today's video. This basically takes the same DNA as the Tux from Maison Alhambra, but just refines it, just makes it very smooth, and makes the scent very similar to the original fragrance. You get the floral elements, you get the spiciness, you get the vanillic sweetness, you get the patchouli on the dry down, a very gentlemanly, very sort of an sophisticated scent with good performance, very high quality, nice packaging. The only problem of this one is the fact that it's quite expensive. Around Europe this costs between 50, 60, maybe even over 60 euros, which makes it costing in the territory of designer fragrances. And the last YSL original scent that I'm going to cover in today's video will be the other hyped up fragrance from the same line as Tuxedo, and that will be Babycat. Again, I'm going to give you two options. One of them is probably the most recognizable and most famous clone. It comes from the brand of Paris Corner. It's called Rayhaan, and to this day this remains a very good alternative for Babycat. It gets pretty much the same notes. You get the vanillic sweetness, you get the spiciness, you get the suede leather, maybe a hint of the tobacco. It's a very sweet, very dark take on the vanilla theme. Maybe this one feels a little bit sweeter than the original scent. Also maybe feeling a little bit darker than the original scent, but offers really nice quality and great performance for a fraction of the price. The other one is probably what's the best clone of Babycat right now, but again, just like Igua, it comes from the same manufacturer, same brand. This is also super expensive, at least when it comes to Middle Eastern clones. It comes from the brand of French Avenue, and it's called Fierté. And this is just like, in fact, the cap of this one weighs as much as some of the other bottles that I've included in today's video. This one, just like Igua, offers a very high quality. It's a very refined take on the Babycat scent profile. Smells closer to the original scent compared to Fierté, or to Rayhaan, excuse me. This is not as sweet. It's smoother, it has a stronger suede leather note, and all around feels very similar to to Babycat. The quality is superb, performance is very good with this one, but again, it's just a little bit more expensive. Keep that in mind. And so guys, in today's video I showed you 13 clones and alternatives of original YSL fragrances. I hope that you found this video interesting to watch. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.